Hey guys, Ravedge here. This is going to be the fifth movie in my Windwalker Monk PvP guide. In this part I'm going to be covering the gameplay mechanics of offensive, defensive, cooldowns, heals, spell priority, rotation, and just gameplay usage so you guys see what I was talking about in my part 3 and part 4 and applying it to real-time situations. If you are looking for more of an in-depth breakdown of spells and priorities, you're going to want to check out my part 3 and part 4. Part 3 covered offensive spells, cooldowns, rotations. Defensive was part 4, and that did healing, defensive spells, defensive cooldowns, and simple defensive tricks. That was more of just a breakdown in front of a target dummy to show spells and how they worked. This is actually going to be gameplay footage of showing scenarios of where it can apply to people. So if that's what you need, go ahead and check those out. And if you're ready to just hop right in and see the gameplay footage, then just stick around. Hope you guys enjoy. Alright, in this first clip here, I was hitting the Shadow Priest on my right until he got hotted up and popped Dispersion. At that point I saw the Druid wasn't too far away and I went ahead and rolled over to him and switched targets. At this point I took a quick look at my buffs and saw that I had my 10 stacks of Tiger Eye Brew and my 3 stacks of Tiger Palm. That with Zune the White Tiger and my Trinket off cooldown, I decided I was going to pop my cooldowns and try and burst the Druid down, and I succeeded. With all these cooldowns stacked properly, a monk can take healers sometimes from full to pretty much dead before they know what happens, and this is a prime example. At this point I had succeeded in killing the resto druid, but as you can tell I still had my offensive cooldown still going for a little bit. Zune the White Tiger lasts for 45 seconds, so I'm going to try and use him for his full duration and go on a killing spree with my teammates as I work my way towards the cart. This is just to show that if you keep moving, you can keep your damage rolling at pretty much non-stop until it ends. In this next little short clip here, I'm going to go ahead and just cover quickly one of the best parts about being a monk is your survivability by escaping. When using Roll, Flying Serpent Kick, or Tiger's Lust, or using all three properly, you're able to avoid a lot of damage. In this clip here, I'm coming across a couple spellcasters. I went ahead and popped a Fuse Magic so I could stop all the spell damage taken, rolled away, and then Flying Serpent kicked. I got pretty far away across the map and I was able to reset the fight and come back in later with the rest of my team for a kill. In this next little short clip here, I'm just going to show quickly what I use Spinning Crane Kick for, and I use it to pop stealthies out or mages who are invis. This mage went ahead and after I Flying Serpent kicked over to him, he blinked and was going invis, but I was able to actually roll in front of him and Spinning Crane Kick and pop him out. Shortly after that, he tried to do the Alter Time Jump, which if you're new to monks and you don't understand what that mage spell is, when they pop it, their body will come back to original spot of where they cast the spell at. He popped it at the edge of a cliff and then jumped off. Most people, if they're not paying attention, would jump off after him to kill him, but I saw him pop the spell and was waiting for him above, waiting for him to port back. And he actually did port back up in front of me, but he jumped off again, and at that point I wasn't going after him. This next clip here, I'm just going to show quickly what happens against a mage who doesn't pay attention to your cooldown usage. I hadn't used a stun yet, whether it was Leg Sweep or Fist of Fury, and he blinked pretty early. Unfortunately, I was able to close the gap on him, and when I popped Leg Sweep and did Fist of Fury, it can be pretty devastating. This clip here is just to show that if you're able to watch for people to use these cooldowns and you can work around it, you can get some pretty crazy damage in. This next clip actually has a couple parts that happen in it, and I'm just going to go down the list quickly of what happens in order, and you'll see it play out shortly after. Right off the bat, mobility of a monk is just amazing. You can see I'm about to use 2 rolls and a flying serpent kick towards my target to stick onto him. Once he actually gets away from me for a little bit and gets me in a root, Tiger's Lust is on cooldown, so I decided to do Crackling Jade Lightning, hoping to get some chi. Unfortunately, I didn't get any chi, but I still went ahead and did some damage to him with the Crackling Jade Lightning. Shortly after that, I was able to stick back onto him, and he blinked away. Luckily for me, roll was off cooldown, so I used 1 roll, was right on top of him, and then did a leg sweep, knowing he can't blink out of it. After leg sweep, I was able to get him down to around half health before he broke free again. At this point, I did have Tiger's Lust off cooldown, went ahead and popped that to break free, and took the mage down to the point where he had Cauterize proc. After Cauterize, he went ahead and ice block to make sure he didn't die. At this point, a lot of people don't know what really to do. I turn around and decide to hit the pet because it does build you chi. You can turn and hit a pet, whether it's a hunter pet, mage pet, etc., and build up chi. His is actually a trinket that procced, but I went ahead and used my advantage. I was able to build up some chi, and the mage, thinking I wasn't paying attention to him, went ahead and popped out of ice block for him. And I turned around, and he apparently doesn't know that Spinning Fire Blossom, if you're over 10 yards away, does 50% more damage. And my Spinning Fire Blossom actually does a 25k hit, 50,000 crit, and then another 25k hit. So I did 100k damage to him in 3 globals and finished him off. This is just to show you that Spinning Fire Blossom is not a spell to be overlooked. This next clip is just a quick clip showing the proper use of Transcendence and Transcendence Transfer and using Diffuse Magic at an opportune moment. I'm running a 2v2 with a Resto Chamois, and we came across an Affliction Warlock and a Boomkin. Now, knowing the Boomkin, I figured he was most likely Spec Typhoon, and I was expecting to get pushed off the edge, so I set up my Transcendence so I could, transfer back up top to the upper level. Luckily, it worked out that way, and I was able to transfer up top and stick to my target. At this point, I was waiting for him to get his full dots rolling on me so I could diffuse magic and reflect them back onto him. So once he did do that, I did that and popped Zune, and we took him down pretty quickly. This next clip is actually one of my favorite I was able to record. Number one, it shows how cool the Goblin Flyer is from engineering, but that's not the main point of this part. Part of this clip I'm trying to show is when using diffuse magic and your heals properly and being really defensive, you can take on two people where it really looks grim for you. I was able to pop cooldowns accordingly, whether it was Chi Wave or Expel Harm and then diffuse magic, and take down a Warlock and a Boomkin at the same time. So this is just one of those videos to show you that if you use it properly, you can outplay two people at once, especially as a monk. This last clip I'm going to show you guys is actually a 2v2 match from my Monk Resto Shami team, and we're versing a Warrior and Resto Druid. Now with the current state of how Warrior damage is, this is not an easy comp for us to beat. And at this point when the clip starts, the Warrior is going to pop his offensive cooldowns into me, I believe Recklessness, Avatar, and Banner. At this point I actually do not have all my defensive cooldowns off. I don't have Fortifying Brew off cooldown. So it's up to me and my partner to communicate and make sure I don't die. So right off the bat, I actually pop Tiger's Lust and run over to my Shami, who's actually off the edge at this point. Shortly after that, the Warrior is trying to get back onto me, and I pop Chi Wave instantly, start having him bouncing and help out with healing. Soon after that, he does get back onto me and hit me back down pretty low. At this point, I was able to disarm him for 4 seconds, which reduced my damage taken by quite a bit for a little bit. Once that happened, I was just trying to play defensive, jump around, avoid his damage, roll away if I can, just to avoid as much damage as possible till his cooldowns are down. At that point, eventually, we are pulling my health pool back up. I pop Touch of Karma into the Warrior to, once again, completely reduce my damage taken and reflect what he does do to me back onto him. Now once this is going on, it's turning the tables of the match very quickly. The rest of Druid is starting to get behind on healing, and I decided to use Paralysis on him as soon as I can to stop his healing for even a couple seconds. At this point, me and my Resto Shami are communicating, and he's ready to do damage with me as well. So he pops his cooldowns, and I pop Zune, Tiger-Eye Brew, and my Trinket, and we actually take this Warrior from full to dead. This was a tense match for us, but it was a really nice victory, and it just goes to show you guys, if you play your Monk properly and use the cooldowns accordingly, you can turn the match from a loss to a win in a matter of seconds. Alright guys, that's going to conclude the 5th and final part of the Intro to Windwalker Monk PvP guide. If you guys did enjoy it, please like, favorite, and subscribe. I'm going to be throwing out more videos, whether it's arena commentaries, battlegrounds, maybe some rated BGs, world PvP if I can actually find it, and possibly maybe another class. Do I want to tell you what my alt is yet? I'm not sure. I'm going to keep PvPing and throwing stuff out there, and really guys, you have to let me know what you like to see and whatnot, because I do it all on my monk. It's just a matter of what would I want to edit and throw together. I have fun doing all this, so just keep giving me the feedback. You guys have been really great, and it's been awesome inspiration for me to keep doing this, so please don't stop. I really love having all this fun and then putting it all together and seeing what people think about it. It's been really positive feedback, so thanks a lot guys. I'm going to go ahead and conclude this video. If you check back next week, I should have a couple more videos for you sometime over the weekend. So thanks for watching guys. This is Ravedge.